Hello, my dear students. Welcome back in the Singh Academy. As we had already discussed about how to create a table in MySQL and how to open the database, how to change the database, and how you will insert the records. So this we have already learned. Now today we are going to discuss about the database constraints. So what is the constraints and what is the applications of the constraints in a MySQL? Actually, constraints is the way through which you can apply some rules and some conditions on the table's attribute. So in MySQL, there are different types of the constraints. And first, we are going to discuss about not null constraints. So what is the not null constraints? It apply on the column, it apply on the attribute to indicate that this column does not contain any null value. So null value is not permitted. And for that, you have to use the not null constraint here. To apply the not null constraint, simply after writing the column name, their data type, and their size, you simply put the not null. And whenever you are going to check the descriptions of that particular column, particular table, you are able to find, you are able to get that, okay, you are able to get it, okay, that column is not allowed a null value. Default. What is the default constraints? Default constraint, sometimes you don't want to enter the value and you don't have a value for the particular attribute and column. In that case, if you want to assign some default value, for that purpose, we are using the default constraint. Okay, so how you are going to write the default constants? Let us see. To apply the default constant like this, we want to decide the default value for the salary as 40,000. So how you will do, you have to write the first column name, then data type, then size. And after that, you use the keyword default and then specify the default value here, just like I have written here, 40,000. Okay, so whenever you show the table, a structure, describe a teacher, you are able to get it whenever you written the default. You can see it here. The default value is written here. In the same way, we talk because the teacher ID is given the primary key. No, so first name is assigned as a not null. So you can look at here. The null value is not allowed here. And in a default column, all the columns is having the by default null value. But here you have written the default 40,000. That's why the 40,000 is written here. Check constants. What is the check constant? Check constant actually used to restrict the values of a column, values of attribute. You can specify the what values are the possibles. You can specify the some ranges to insert the value in that particular attribute. Okay. So like this, here it is written here, check constants, and you can see the how you are going to write the check constant. For the check constant, first you write the check, then under the open and close parentheses, with the column name, you can specify the condition here with the help of the relational operator. You may also compare the value of one column to the another column of the same table. That is also permitted here. One thing you are remember here, generally MySQL does not support the check constants, but if you are using the advanced version like this, I am using MySQL version 8, in that check constant is also working. Next, we are going to talk about the key constants. Key constants means we are going to talk about the primary key constants. What is the primary key constants? Means if you want a particular attribute should behave like a primary key, means their value is always unique and null value is not allowed. For that purpose, we are using the primary key constants. There are two ways in which you are using the primary key constant. Sometimes we want to make only one attribute as a primary key in my table. In that case, you can write the primary key just after the data type of that particular column. Okay, means in the description of the column, you can definitely write the primary key attribute constant here. But if you want to apply the primary key constants on two or more than two columns, that is the composite primary key if you want to create. For that purpose, you have to write down the primary key at the last, means after writing the all columns, after writing the all attributes, then at last you can write the primary key here. Like this way you can write the primary key, and inside the parenthesis you can mention the name of the columns. It is not like that key always if I have to apply the primary key constants on two or more than 10 two table, then only I'm going to use this. It is not like this. You can apply the same thing on a one column also, doesn't matter here. Now I'm going to start the MySQL and I'm going to show you how you will perform these commands, as well as I'm going to show you how you can insert the records in the table also. So look, MySQL I have started. Now I'm going to open the one table. First I have to open that show the database, show the databases. Then only I can come to know what databases are available. I'm going to use SCH1, school 1, show tables. First I'm trying to check the tables, how many tables are there. So no tables are here. Now I want to create a table with the name of the teacher by applying the some constraints here. Like this I'm writing here, create table, and the table name is teacher and open parenthesis, and then I'm writing here ID. The column is the integer and I want to apply the primary key constraint here. Now I'm writing the name and I'm giving the data type varchar 20, and I want to specify the not null constraint here. Now I'm writing here DOB and the data type is the date. Okay, no constraint I want to apply here. Now the salary and the data type is the decimal 10 comma 2, 10 comma 2. Okay, and I want to apply the default constraint here. So I'm writing here DEFAUL to default, and the amount I'm giving here 45,000. Okay, comma. Then I'm writing here address, and the data type is the varchar2 30 or something like this I'm giving here. And again I want to apply the default value for this, so I'm writing here New Delhi. So you can see it here, see how you are going to assign the default value for the character data type and for the numeric data type. You can observe the differences here. Now I'm writing the department ID and I want to apply the one constant here also, that is the check constant. So how I'm writing? I'm writing the check constant department ID, and then I'm giving the greater than equal to some value. I'm writing 1 or something like this I want to give, or 100 I want to give here. And this must be written inside the parenthesis. Okay. And now I don't want to declare any more columns. So I close the parenthesis and put the semicolon. I'm getting an error message here. And the error message is here, what department ID integer, check department ID greater than equal to 100. I think I have written the name default. Oh, yes, got it. The mistake is there. It is a typo mistake. It's happened with me because I try to type in very fast speed, but sometimes my fingers are not coordinated properly with the keyboard. And in that case, I'm getting this error message. No problem. I'm going to correct it. Ah, yeah, you're thinking about how I'm getting the previous written command. Just use the up arrow and down arrow. With the help of that, you will see the all things in a proper way. Okay, so now my table is created. Okay, so now I'm showing you the tables in my database, and now it's showing the teacher table here. I want to describe the teacher. I want to check it, what columns are there. And now here you can easily compare. This is the ID and it is the data type integer. No null, in a null it is written no. In a null it is written no here also. In a key it is written PRI. PRI stands for the primary. PRI stands for the primary. In a default, you can see the null value is written. Here, what is written default? By default, every column is having the default value is null. But look at the salary and what is the default value? This is the 40,000. Look at the address. What is the default value? That is the New Delhi. So, and look at the department and nothing is mentioned. You have applied the chain constraints. So now I try to insert some record here so that you are able to understand what is the importance of the applying the constraints on a column. Okay, so now I'm trying to insert one record, insert into. If you want to insert the record in a table, you have to use the insert into command. So right here, insert into and then give the table name, and I'm writing the table name. And after that, you will write the values. And then you have to put the values in the same order, the order you have written the column name here, like this. The first value for ID, second name, third DOB, fourth salary, fifth address, and like this way. So I'm giving the value, this is the 101, or I'm writing here 1 and then I'm writing the name. Any name I am giving here, I'm giving like a Singh, okay, and then I'm writing here name is written, then I'm giving the date of birth. Date of birth is always given as the first year first, and then you have to apply the, then you have to give the month, and then you have to give the date. Okay, so this way I'm giving that this, okay, and then I'm going to write the salary here. So I'm giving the here 40,000, 40,000 is the salary. Then address I'm writing here Delhi, okay, and I close it. And no, I forget to mention the department ID, and department ID I'm giving the 110, okay, because below this if you are giving you will get an error message. So my one query is executed. Now I'm going to show you the records which select star from teacher. So you will see the record is here. Okay, fine. Now I try to insert the one more command, insert into teacher, and this time I want to insert the same record. So now look at this, I'm getting an error message, and this error is occurs due to the primary key. Okay, So now you understand, so you are not able to insert the more than one records with the which are having the same unique ID. Means ID is the primary key here. It means you are not supposed to give the same value, as well as you are not supposed to enter the null value. Now I'll show you the some other things. Suppose I want to insert, I don't have all details. I have only ID and name. So I want to insert only two value, and I'm writing here teacher, and I'm writing here values, and I'm giving the do, and I'm writing here Sunil, and I'm putting this, and definitely I'll get the error message. What is the error? Column count does not match value count. Means you have given the only two values, but this table is having more than two columns, and that means six columns. But I want to enter the only two values. So how it is possible? It is possible by using this way. You can write the command like this way: insert into teacher, and then put the column name id comma name, and then write the values, and then put the values like this 2 comma Sunil. So now it's working very fine. Wait, look at this record inserted, and I'll show you the record in a table. Look at this id2 name Sunil. What is the dob? What is the DOB? Now again, I'm going to show you the describe teacher, and here you can come to know, because I have not written any value for the DOB, and what is the default value of DOB? This is the null value, and it is allowed also. So that's why null is here. What is the default value for salary? The default value for salary is 45,000. So look at this 45,000. It came automatically. That is the importance of the default value. What is the default value of address? This is the New Delhi. So you can look at this. New Delhi is inserted automatically, and default value for department ID is the null. So null value is inserted here. Okay. So this is the importance of applying the constants. Now I want to check the check constraint. Suppose I'm going to write the one more record, and I'm giving the admission unique ID, and I'm giving the casing. I'm writing the name and date of birth. I'm going to change. And here I try to give the value that is the less than 100. And now look at this. I'm getting an error message, and this error message incorrect date value. Yes, the first date value is incorrect. Why? Because the April does not having the 31st date. Okay, now look at this. Here you are getting the error message due to I have written the incorrect date value, but here you are getting the value due to you are violating the check constants. According to check constants, you have written that the value of department ID must be greater than 100, but I'm trying to give the 10 here, so this is an error message. Now, if I'm giving the 100, then it's fine, because you have written here greater than equal to 100. I'll show you the command. What is you have written? Department ID greater than equal to 100. So that's why it is working now. Okay, so fine, you understand? One more thing, I clear this. How can you use the default value and null value? Null value you also understands. Now I'm going to show you the null constants. Use how to use the null. Suppose I'm trying to insert one record, and in this case, this time I don't have a date of birth and name. I don't know what I want to give the null value to the name, and I'm writing here the 4. Okay, I'm giving here 4, and then I'm trying to give the any date, particular valid date 2000 minus this. Okay, and now I'm trying to insert the again. I'm getting an error message. Name does not have a default value. Why? Because in a look at here, while you are defining the name, you written the null not allowed. Null not allowed. So and the default value is null only. So it is not allowed here. It is written here not allowed. And you try to insert a null value. Because I know that we know that when you are mentioning the column name with the teacher with the table name, it means you want to give the value for that particular column only. So here name is not written, and you are not trying to give the value for the name, so it's by default try to insert the null value there, and that's why we are getting a error message. So this is about the today's sessions. In the next sessions we are going to discuss about the differential integrity constants, and one more thing is left here: how to apply the how to create table having the two key as a primary key. Wait, I'm creating a one table here. Create table, and table name is the test, and here I'm just writing ID integer comma name char 20. I'm not writing any constraints, and I'm giving here salary anything and decimal and 10 comma 2. And here in this table I want to make ID and name both as a primary key. So I'm writing in this way, and now look at this. My table is created. Now I want to show you the describe test, and you can look at this. The PRIs appear here and PRIs appear here. But one thing you always understand, In this table, ID is not a primary key, name is not a primary key, ID and name both together known as the primary key. So this is called composite primary key. Okay. So in next session, we are going to discuss about the referential primary integrity constants, how you can apply the referential integrity constants, and how you are going to insert the records accordingly. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.